One of the questions you may have about the Model 1915 magazine adapter is, will this work with my magazines? The overwhelming answer is yes, but we do have some tips and tricks for you to get the best possible function out of your new .45 caliber AR build. If you've been shooting 1911s for a while, you may have already noticed that some of the brands or styles of magazines seem to function better than others in your pistol. This will also be the case with a carbine build, and I'm going to show you why and what specifically makes for a good magazine design for use in both your 1911s and your .45 ACP carbine. So here in front of us, we have several of the magazines that we used for the testing of the Model 1915 magazine adapter. And here are the ones that work best. This support at the front edge of the follower is instrumental in what makes for a good 1911 magazine. The follower can be steel, as is the case here, or it can be polymer, as it is on this Wilson magazine. In any case, what it does functionally is both prevent tilting and forward movement of the follower while feeding rounds. This is especially important when the last round feeds in either a pistol or rifle, because the slider bolt is going to rub across this magazine follower as it moves forward. If the follower is able to shift, as is the case here, it can potentially induce feed malfunctions or in some cases even damage the magazine. This condition is exacerbated by this small projection here, which was actually intended to aid in feeding the last round by reducing drag on the cartridge back when the gun was designed. However, on a cheap or worn magazine, if this small dimple is out of spec and has hard edges or is badly scuffed or peened from use, it can catch the slider bolt and either cause more drag or even in some cases push the follower forward, messing with your feed geometry or even deforming the follower. Now, both of these magazines will work, and the concept behind the Model 1915 magazine adapter is that you can use any 1911 magazines that you have on hand. But for the most reliable function in both guns, we recommend that you try to find magazines of this design so that you can have the most fun with the least stoppages. With regards to bolt selection, there are two styles of .45 caliber bolts that are presently available on the market. This is the more common style, has this protrusion at the bottom of the bolt face. This other style, made by Kaw Valley Precision, lacks the protrusion, the bolt face is milled flat, and it features an AR-15 style extractor. Both styles were used in our testing and will function with the Model 1915 magazine adapter, but we found that this style was of the two the more reliable design with a wider variety of ammunition. The conventional wisdom that you'll hear when you're building a pistol caliber carbine is that you want to use a heavyweight buffer and a carbine length tube. While that's a valid option and allows the use of adjustable stocks, it can require some tuning for specific cartridges, loads, or barrel lengths. Our tip, if this is your first build or if you're looking for the hands down easiest possible way to build a pistol caliber carbine, is to use a mil-spec rifle length buffer system. That's it. There's no tuning involved, the recoil is softer, and the gun will just run. You'll have to use a fixed stock, but you will still have a choice of either an A1 or A2 length, depending on your preference or stature. A rifle length buffer system with the shorter A1 stock is what we used in all of our testing, and it was completely reliable and really fun to shoot. When it comes to selecting a trigger group for your build, be sure that you're purchasing one that's specifically designed for use in a pistol caliber carbine. If you're planning to use one lower and multiple calibers of upper, note that the mil-spec trigger groups will not function correctly with the direct blowback bolts of a pistol caliber upper. But a PCC rated trigger will function correctly with a rifle caliber upper. So that's what you want for the most versatility. The one pictured here is a KE Arms SLT2, and it proved to be 100% reliable in our testing. Here are a couple of the upper receivers that we put together for our testing. We found that the combination of barrel and upper was immaterial, and all combinations seemed to run reliably. The only detail that bears mentioning is to make sure you're getting an upper that is designed for pistol calibers, which will have a larger style ejection port than a standard rifle upper. Lastly, we're going to touch on what kind of ammunition is best for your .45 ACP pistol caliber carbine. We had the most success with round nose bullets. As you'd expect, they tended to feed reliably with all combinations of rifle components. Semi-wad cutters worked well, but showed more sensitivity to the choice of bolt. Hollow points, as you would expect if you've done any amount of shooting with a 1911, were the least reliable option on the whole. They can work, but there are so many different styles and shapes that we can't really recommend them out of hand unless you're a hand loader and willing to experiment with seating depths and bullet shapes to get a combination that will work reliably for your gun.